Virginia Giuffre, the Perth-based woman who spoke out against Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, says she has 4 days left to live.
Yeah, let's catch up on this. Here's our entertainment editor, Peter Ford. Pete, what's the latest with this?
Well, it's a very sad and unexpected twist in this story of Virginia Giuffre, which has gone on for many years. This photograph is the photograph that really will be forever remembered in sort of pop culture history because it changed the lives of so many people. Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell in the home of Jeffrey Epstein, and then Virginia Giuffre, or sometimes in the early days when we started hearing about her, Virginia Roberts, she was known as. And all of those lives have changed. And now today we have this very dramatic twist in the story. She has gone on to her Instagram to announce that last week she was involved in an accident with a bus. That is the photograph that she's posted from her hospital bed. Now, she's gone into acute renal failure. You would just sit on this photograph for a minute, if you would, please, because look at that. Presumably that's in ICU. Very odd, I would have thought, to be wearing jewellery in ICU, and I would have also thought very odd to not be wearing a hospital gown in ICU. If you have days to live, presumably you would either be in ICU or you would be hooked up to a dialysis machine. But that is the photograph that she has provided to make this announcement. Now, she's indicated the final wish that she has is to be reunited with her children. She recently has been involved in a breakup, a marital breakup, and it would seem, judging by a post from 10 days ago, that she doesn't have access to her children, and that's what she desperately wants before it is too late. Now, as I mentioned to you, in Perth, she says this accident happened last week. We believe she's been living in Perth. The cops in the West say that they have no record of a bus hitting a car last week. They can't run a search by name, but in terms of the details provided, they say no such event happened last week in Perth, assuming that's where she's saying this happened. Now, Virginia certainly has shown herself to be extremely resilient, incredibly strong through the years, taking on very powerful people, and a lot of people working against her and still will. We'll come back to that. But here's a little that indicates to you the strength of Virginia Giuffre in this clip. Now, you might recall as part of a civil suit, she was paid a massive amount of money. We don't know exactly how much. It was rumoured to be between £3 and £11 million, which, you know, that's a big variation, I know. But either way, it's the sort of money that will set you up for life, and you would like to think the story ends with she lived happily ever after. But that would seem not to be the case at all. Now, people are already coming after her. Lady Victoria Harvey, who does have very strong royal connections, is calling this out. That's the post that Lady Victoria Harvey has put up there. Pretty brutal, isn't it? Oh. She is saying, I don't believe this at all, and she's making claims about an investigation that is currently underway into Virginia. So those are the claims of Lady Victoria Harvey. Look, I'm taking it on face value. The photograph is very dramatic. It would seem odd to me personally to be, if you have days to live, that you're putting posts onto social media, but people think differently about all that stuff than I do. Okay. Also, in reference to her father, who has responded, I have checked out that account, and that account only has 9 followers, and also the father, if it is the father, has never posted before on Instagram. So you would think what he would be saying in a message like that is, how can I contact you privately? But that's not what the message is indicating. So I have a funny feeling this story is not over.
OK. New accusations have been made, meantime, Pete, following Prince Harry's departure from the charity Sentebale.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling we're going to get a drip feed on this one with little snippets every day. And the latest is a claim that has been made that a letter was sent to Dr. Selfie Chandaku to say, you know, why haven't you done as I asked you to do? You might recall the scene on the stage at the polo event where Dr. Sophie was there, Meghan was there. It was very awkward, to say the least. There you go. That's that famous vision, infamous vision now. And Prince Harry wanted Dr. Sophie to put out a statement to say, Meghan did nothing wrong, leave her alone. Now, she would not do that because she said, we're not an extension of the Sussex PR machine. My only interest is the charity. And so she wouldn't do it. And that's when it's believed she got a letter that is described as being unpleasant and imperious from Prince Harry. So I think a lot of stuff will be leaking out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, got to say, Pete, that suits us because we don't want to get one big story and then be done with it. We'd rather like a assign
Drip
30 to
Yeah.
40 seconds in this segment each day, it suits us. It's one less story we have to chase. Ryan Reynolds has also found himself in a bit of hot water over a plane trip, yeah?
Yeah, these stories really get people going. So he co-owns the Wrexham team in the UK, and the Wrexham team did hire a private jet to travel 150 miles. Now, that in itself upsets people. People say, you know, why can't you get a bus, you know, get a train, anything? Why do you have to have a private plane to go and travel that relatively short distance? Took about 37 minutes in the air. Now, what makes it even worse is that only 4 days later, Ryan Reynolds and members of the Wrexham team actually went to New York to the United Nations to talk about how important it was to look after the environment. So that's the sort of thing that upsets people, when you have celebrities preaching to you about the things you should be doing, and yet they're flying around in private jets. We get examples of this every week. Ryan Reynolds is the latest one.
Okay. Thank you, Pete. We'll check
Thank
you
you.
later in the
See you
show.
soon, Pete.